Good morning. It's so lovely to see you all here. I'm the Reverend Dr. Teresa Cooley. I'm your new developmental minister. And I just want to say how much I appreciate how welcoming you have all been since I've been here. I'm learning all the new things to learn about Columbus, like it's a really bad idea to go to IKEA on Move-In Sunday, right? I'm learning. So really, thank you so much. And please be in touch with me if you'd like to set up some time. I've been sending out dozens of Facebook requests because that's a great way for me to get to know you in different sorts of ways. So if I haven't reached out to you, please reach out to me on Facebook. Happy to connect with any of you. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Columbus. We begin this service by acknowledging that we gather on the ancestral lands of the Adena, Hopewell, Wyandotte, Miami, Seneca, Erie, and Cayuga people. We cultivate this awareness that our symbolic acknowledgement be accompanied by concrete acts of solidarity, healing, and reparation. Please rise in body or in spirit to sing We'll Build a Land, number 121 in your gray hymnal. We'll just be singing verses 1, 2, and 4.
Good morning. I am Sarah, and I'm happy to serve this congregation as a member of your Board of Trustees. My pronouns are she, her, they, them. Welcome to First UU. Whether you are joining us online or in person, and whether you are a new face or a familiar one, we are glad you are here. If this is your first time, please stop by the welcome table out in the gallery for your first-time visitor gift. Everyone, please let us know that you are here today by scanning the QR code in your order of service or on the screen. Here you can check in, find out the order of service, the joys and the sorrows form, and our donations page. We have a few announcements this morning. The monthly meeting of UU Atheists, Skeptics, and Humanists, ASH, will meet on Tuesday, August 22nd at 7 p.m. Our program, quote, is the U.S. a failing state? Features Anita Bucknam, senior lecturer at OSU in courses on intelligence and national security. The auction team is seeking a volunteer to provide short-term tech support for this year's auction. Your assistance will help smoothly manage the online auction platform, troubleshoot any tech issues, and ensure a seamless experience for both donors and bidders. What we need: assistant team members with setting up and managing the online auction platform, troubleshoot technical glitches or issues that may arise during the event, provide quick and effective solutions to ensure the auction runs smoothly, collaborate with the team to ensure a user-friendly and efficient online bidding process. If you are interested in contributing your tech skills to this year's auction, please contact Andy at firstucolumbus.org. Thanks. And a final note, as Labor Day weekend approaches, we are excited to extend a warm invitation for you to join in the annual multi-generational Labor Day retreat. This retreat is an opportunity to forge deeper connections, recharge your spirit, and be inspired by the collective wisdom of our diverse community. It is our hope that every member of our community can attend. Please contact the organizers if you need financial assistance, as we don't want anyone to miss out on the fun. The deadline to register for the Labor Day retreat is today. And finally, now is the time to submit your joys and your sorrows. Use the QR code that is available on the screen throughout the service or the paper forms on the back of the candle table. Anything we receive by the end of the Time for All Ages will be shared later during the caring meditation. And we also invite any children who want to help bring in the light to meet Nikki out in the gallery.
And it is now time for our children to bring in the light. I offer this chalice lighting, which you'll find in number 459 in our gray hymnal. This is the mission of our faith, to teach the fragile art of hospitality, to revere both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, and to witness to all that we must hold the whole world in our hands.
Thank you, Evie, for your help lighting the chalice this morning. Give me just one moment. I will get to the page that has what I'm supposed to say. There we are. Good morning. I am Cameron Manjan Betts, and I am a young adult member of this congregation. My pronouns are she and they. Today's book has been challenged, and it is a title we hope to add to our youth group's banned book library. Our story today is called Red, a Crayon Story, written and illustrated by Michael Hall. He was red, but he wasn't very good at it. Oh dear. His teacher thought he needed more practice. I'll draw a red strawberry, and then you draw a red strawberry. You can do this, really. But he couldn't, really. Like this? Oh my, let's try again. His mother thought he needed to mix with other colors. Why don't you two go and draw a nice round orange? A really big one, a really orange one. But they made a greenish one. Yuck. Oops. His grandparents thought he wasn't warm enough. Your class is making self-portraits for Parents' Night. Wear this warm red scarf. Nice, it's so you. But it so wasn't. Oh dear me. Everyone seemed to have something to say. Sometimes I wonder if he's really red at all. Don't be silly. It says red on his label. He came that way from the factory. Frankly, I don't think he's very bright. Well, I think he's lazy. Right, he's got to press harder, really apply himself. Give him time, he'll catch on. Of course he will. But he didn't catch on. Green frog, black sheep, brown cow, red, ugh! All the art supplies wanted to help. The masking tape thought he was broken inside. This will help to hold you together. The scissors thought his label was too tight. One snip should do it. I thought he wasn't sharp enough. Stay still now. But even with all our help and all his hard work, he just couldn't get the hang of it. One day, he met a new friend. Will you make a blue ocean for my boat? I can't, I'm red. Will you try? So he did. Thank you, it's perfect. You're welcome, it was easy. And he didn't stop there. Bluebells, blue jeans, blue birds, blueberries, blue whale. I'm blue. He was blue. And everyone was talking. My son is so brilliant. Who could have known that he was blue? I always said he was blue. It was obvious. His blue ocean really lifted me. All of his hard work makes me happy. His blue strawberries are my favorites. He's so intense. I'm going to make a green lizard with him, a really big one. I hear he's working on a huge new project. He's really reaching for the sky. And he really was. The end. In this story, a blue crayon mistakenly labeled as red tries and tries to belong with no success. It isn't until someone invites him to participate in a new way that he really is able to flourish and come into his own as his true self. Today, as we consider the basic human question, do I belong? Let us also wonder how we can draw our circle wider as we welcome people into this community. I now invite the congregation to form a sheltering arc of love as we sing our young people back to their families and out to class.
Good morning. I'm the Reverend Kelly McNeil. My pronouns are she, her, and I serve this congregation as your minister of congregational life. For our centering words, I offer these words, which are number 442 in our gray hymnal. We bid you welcome. We bid you welcome, who come with weary spirit seeking rest, who come with troubles that are too much with you, who come hurt and afraid. We bid you welcome, who come with hope in your heart, who come with anticipation in your step, who come proud and joyous. We bid you welcome, who are seekers of a new faith, who come to probe and explore, who come to learn. We bid you welcome, who enter this hall as a homecoming, who have found here room for your spirit, who find in this people a family. Whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are on your journey, we bid you welcome. Please remain seated as we sing number 1053, How Could Anyone?
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
Earlier this week, our board and staff sat down with the team for Hope for Us for a one-year check-in. Sam and David, two of our primary facilitators from this program that has helped us go through this past year as we unravel the effects of clergy misconduct, asked us to bring an object that signified either a turning point for us over this past year or something that has brought significance to us. Some of you may know, or simply just been in my office for 2.5 seconds, but I am totally and completely obsessed with all things Disney. If my grandparents could have traveled, I would have gotten married in Disney World. What I love about Disney is that no matter how old I get, I can still escape with childlike wonder every time I go to one of the parks or I turn on a movie. For almost my whole life, I felt a deep connection to Belle from Beauty and the Beast. I saw myself in the character of Belle, a love for books and learning, a desire to be independent, yet holding a deep connection and willingness to sacrifice for her family. I love how she sees beauty in what the world considers ugly and painful. I find that at different points of my life, I lean on Disney characters and stories to help describe or make sense of what I'm feeling or experiencing. As a teenager, I held on to Ariel's sense of adventure and longing to be part of something bigger, to explore more than what my tiny part of the world had to offer. When I think about how I felt moving away from home, moving states away to attend grad school, I feel an inherent connection to Moana's story, of hearing a calling to go beyond what is visible and taking a risk to follow that calling. But over this past year, I felt a connection to a character that I haven't otherwise really thought much about. It's not usually found in anyone's list of favorite Disney movies or characters, and in fact, when I was at Disney in January, there were only a few items that even portrayed this character. When you look at him, you see a rusty, beat-up, sad-looking, trash-collecting robot. When humanity had fully destroyed and trashed this planet only to leave it and flee to live on spacecraft far away up in outer space, this poor little robot was sent back to Earth to clean it up, make it habitable again. When all his friends and fellow cleaning robots stopped working, Wally kept moving. He kept cleaning up the planet one tiny cube of garbage at a time. As he worked, he searched for things that brought him joy, things that he found beautiful. When he found a small little plant growing out of a gross, falling apart boot, he treasured it, hoping to keep it alive and thriving. With each little piece of treasure, things that humanity had long ago forgotten and discarded, he brought them home and decorated his space, bringing him peace and joy. In our Hope for Us meeting, I brought this Christmas ornament that my mom found for me and described Wally as both my spirit animal and the way that I have witnessed this community thrive over this past year. Wally has been my North Star, my constant companion through the highs and lows. Just like our blue crayon friend from our Time for All Ages this morning, to look at Wally is to see an old, broken down, tired yet naive being that believes there is beauty in everything, and that no matter the circumstances, one finds meaning and purpose when they are able to be their most authentic selves, not what their outward labels say that they are. August is our unofficial start to the new church year. It's the time which we're ramping up all of our activities, making plans for the rest of the calendar year, and welcoming back everyone who's been away over the summer. August is also a big month for visitors, particularly families with school-age children. And for anyone who has ever visited a new place or risked entering a new community, we know that the question of, do I belong here, is at the forefront of our brains. Not only do I belong, but will I be welcomed here fully with my whole authentic being, no matter what my outward label may read. In her book, Braving the Wilderness, The Quest for True Belonging and the Courage to Stand Alone, Brené Brown says that belonging is the innate human desire to be part of something larger than us. Because this yearning is so primal, we often try to acquire it by fitting in and by seeking approval, which are not only hollow substitutes for belonging, but often barriers to it. Because true belonging only happens when we present our authentic, imperfect selves to the world, our sense of belonging can never be greater than our level of self-acceptance. She goes on to say, the special courage it takes to experience true belonging is not just about braving the wilderness. It's about becoming the wilderness. It's about breaking down the walls, abandoning our ideological bunkers, and living from our wild heart rather than our weary hurt. We're going to need to intentionally be with people who are different from us. We're going to have to sign up, join, and take a seat at the table. We're going to have to learn how to listen, have hard conversations, look for joy, share pain, and be more curious than defensive, all while seeking moments of togetherness. She concludes, true belonging is not passive. It's a practice that requires us to be vulnerable, get uncomfortable, and learn how to be present with people without sacrificing who we are. Every time I go to Brene Brown for inspiration on a particular topic, I know that I'm going to be in for some internal work. She's going to call me on my stuff. I think Brene Brown is asking us to think of belonging in a couple of different ways. Not only is this a question of, have we created a space in which someone can join our community and find meaning and purpose here, but also, am I able to actively be my true and authentic self here, even if that isn't always the most popular way of being? I find that I prefer to stay with the first question. Are we creating a space in which others feel a sense of belonging and meaning here? It keeps my attention out here, outside of my personal space. When the question becomes, do I belong here? It requires us to do some deeper spiritual work that I know many of us, myself included, might not always want to do. Because what if the answer is no? What if I realize that I've been wearing a red label this whole time, but I'm really blue on the inside? What if I discover that it feels safer for me to put forward my beat up, rusty, falling apart exterior than letting people see the real me? But if I think about Brene Brown's words, what if my hiding my authentic self means that I'm not doing my part to make this a space where everyone feels like they can belong and also be their authentic selves? When I was an intern, I spent a large part of my final few months having hushed conversations in a small, closed-off room with my mentor, the Reverend Sherman Logan. I felt like the questions I needed to ask and the wonderings I needed to explore needed to hide away from the rest of the church because I felt afraid that I had these questions. Because you see, the question I was asking was a version of, do I belong? Reverend Sherman is a co-ordained Baptist and UU minister. He identifies as a UU Christian, and as a Black man who was originally trained as a Baptist minister, knew that he would not judge me if I pulled away a little bit of my curtain, a little bit of my label, and showed him what I was really wrestling with. For months, he helped me discern if I was being called to be a UU minister or a United Church of Christ minister. In my 3 years at the First UU Church of Richmond, I found myself scared on countless occasions to admit that I identified as a UU Christian. And all that time questioning if I needed to hide this part of me left me feeling as though I might not belong here. By the time my internship ended and I moved back to Ohio, I still didn't have an answer. I started here soon after moving, and one of the first questions I was asked was if I was a theist. When I responded that I was, the person responded, "Oh," and walked away. Now, there is no question in my mind that this person was not trying to be rude or offensive in any way. I don't think they meant anything by this. But to someone who was still questioning if they belonged, it just added another question mark to that questioning. I was ready to have a conversation, explain what this term means to me and what I actually believe, but I didn't have the opportunity to do that. I was immediately labeled without an opportunity to go deeper. And at the same time, I know that for a lot of Unitarian Universalists, Christianity has caused a lot of harm and pain. I say Christianity in quotes because the Jesus I read about in my Bible is unrecognizable from the person many Christian churches throughout history have proclaimed him to be. But that's another sermon for another time. I also know what it feels like to feel like you belong to something, and then it feels like that something is being taken away from you. Every day as a new Christian gets on the news and spews hatred in the name of their religion, I feel disgust and anger rising up within me. Some days that makes my resolve to be firm in my label as a UU Christian even stronger, to show the world that this warped view is a radicalized, hate-filled, disgusting example of what happens when we choose to other and idealize bigots. Other days, I'm left feeling empty, unsure of myself and confused about how to move forward. Because I know that with each passing day, it becomes easier to hide behind my rusty, beat-up, hardened shell than to run the risk of sharing myself and being rejected. This morning, I'm wondering where each of us is. Do you feel a sense of belonging? Is it easier to think about and work hard to make this a place for others to feel as though they belong than to do the equally important internal spiritual work of finding that sense within ourselves? This work is so hard because it's a both and. We say that Unitarian Universalism is a place for all, where we invite and want people to feel as though they can truly belong by being their most authentic selves, knowing that we have many growing edges to be fully inclusive. But are all of us being our most authentic selves? Or do we need a space that is welcoming to the exploration of our authentic selves to be our most authentic selves? One of the things I'm working on in therapy right now is how to get out when I keep finding myself stuck in this cyclical thinking, and therefore never actually moving anywhere because I just get lost in this continuous looping. But what I've learned is that the circle isn't going anywhere, even if I move outside of it for a moment. So what would happen if, when we arrive to this place, whether that be a Sunday morning or any time throughout the week, we take a small bit of our label, that outward-facing thing that describes us to other people, and we leave it on the sidewalk? You can put it under a rock so it doesn't blow away. It will be waiting for you when you leave. But then maybe next week you take a little bit bigger of a piece, put it under the rock for safekeeping, and enter. How long would it take us to forget to put that piece of label back on when we leave? What environment must we co-create together in order to facilitate this type of work? One thing I know is that it will be kind of messy in here for a while, as we each try to figure out what it means to belong as our true authentic selves. We'll hit some roadblocks along the way. Heaven help you if you show up in a Michigan football jersey, no longer afraid to admit that you root for that team up north. I cannot promise that you will be fully safe from some of us, but we may let it slide. Can you imagine what being a part of a community where it is safe to be 100% your authentic self, what that would feel like? Where you're invited to mess up along the way, make errors, dent up the car a little bit, all in the effort of learning. If you were to enter a new community where this was the culture, would you be able to almost immediately tell how countercultural and welcoming the space was? I know that this topic can often start to feel too idealistic. Maybe I'm trying too hard to find beauty in a tiny plant in a falling apart boot, but I don't think so. We have been through some shit lately. And look at us. We are not broken or damaged goods. We haven't been written off or deemed unworthy or incapable. We have fought hard, showing the world what we believe, even when faced with hostile forces who bring their hatred and their weapons to our doors to stop a children's event. We fought hard to defeat unjust and undemocratic laws that are thinly veiled as protection, when their actual goal is to dehumanize over 50% of the population. We know how to do this work. Only we can prevent ourselves from doing it. Because even the most difficult personal spiritual work is made easier when you know that you are not doing it alone. So friends, as we kick off this first year of transitional ministry, now is the time for us to ask these questions. Unfortunately, I don't have answers for you. I can't stand here and tell you how to think, what to feel, how to answer these questions, but I'm so excited to learn and grow and wonder and explore with you. Who are we? Who do we want to be? Who am I? Who do I want to be? Do I belong? Amen. Blessed be.
This is a sacred space for your body, heart, and mind to question and to seek and embrace what you will find. Here your soul can grow, stretch its wings out free. There's no separation between you and between me. This is a place of love that affirms all living things. We welcome everyone. We have each a song to sing, each on our own path, but we all walk as one. And when we realize this, we shine brighter than the sun. Let's burn the flame together, the calm and stormy weather, with openness and curiosity, with compassion as the mission. Peace is what we're wishing for. Wishes can become reality. I love you and you see love in me. Every day is new and we try again. We grow in all we do and make change our friend. This is a sacred space for your body, heart, and mind to question and to seek and see with more than eyes. Here your soul is safe to doubt and pray and sing. There's no separation between us and everything. So let's burn the flame together, the calm and stormy weather, with openness and curiosity, with compassion as our mission. Peace is what we're wishing for. Wishes can become reality. And I love you and you see love in me. When we love each other, we are free.
Thank you, Katie. My name is Sylvia Howe, and I am a retired Unitarian Universalist minister and a member of this congregation. My pronouns are she, her. To begin our caring meditation, I offer you a poem, Morning Poem by Mary Oliver. Every morning, the world is created. Under the orange sticks of the sun, the heaped ashes of the night turn into leaves again and fasten themselves to the high branches, and the ponds appear like black cloth on which are painted islands, islands of summer lilies. If it is your nature to be happy, you will swim away along the soft trails for hours, your imagination alighting everywhere. And if your spirit carries with it the thorn that is heavier than lead, if it's all you can do to keep on trudging, there is still somewhere deep within you a beast shouting that the earth is exactly what is wanted. Each pond with its blazing lilies is a prayer heard and answered lavishly. Every morning, whether or not you have ever dared to be happy, whether or not you have ever dared to pray, let us open our hearts to the events of the world, for the suffering of the people and the land caused by natural and human causes, the devastating wildfires in Maui and Canada, the hurricane that's barreling toward California, for a group of young people in Montana who won a landmark lawsuit in the effort to save the planet from the devastating effects of human-caused climate change. If you haven't seen their pictures, look it up. It is wonderful. We offer best wishes for everyone who is starting school this week. Indeed, the world joys and woes are woven fine. I invite Barb Fiorini, this week's pastoral listener, to join me on the chancel. We have two carrying card announcements and one announcement this morning. A special joy. Shane R., son of Helene R. and Denise D., and his fiancée Jessica K. have had their picture chosen for projection as part of the 223 National Down Syndrome video presentation in Times Square. On September 9th, so we all gotta go to Times Square. Shane and Jessica will be traveling to New York City to participate in the Buddy Walk and to watch the video live in Times Square. We have a concern from Tom P. His mother, Delane, recently suffered a fall in Portland, Maine. She is recovering. And congratulations to Harrison B., who presented his binary black hole research yesterday at the Astronaut Scholar Technical Conference. Harrison was one of the coming of age in the classes that I taught, and Tom Balliol was his mentor. His presentation was amazing. I didn't understand it at all. And you can find it on YouTube under Astronaut Scholar Technical Conference. It's worth watching. I've watched several of them. These are brilliant, brilliant kids. Bob Fiorini will read the caring cards and announcements you have submitted this morning. As a reminder, any caring cards submitted after 4 p.m. on Saturday, up to the start of today's service, will be read the following Sunday. And now for the joys and sorrows you lifted up this morning.
Thanks, Sylvia. I'm Barb Fiorini, and I'm a member of the pastoral team. This morning, we just have one that came in from Kelly A., expressing sorrow at the death of Lolita, the orca, who spent her entire life in a small tank.
May we hold these joys and sorrows and all those yet unspoken gently in our hearts. I invite you to come into a time of prayer, meditation, or reflection. O Spirit of the universe, our world and lives are indeed filled with joy and woe. May we find courage in times of challenge, solace in times of grief, and hope in times of despair. May our hearts be filled with the love that surrounds us and gratitude for all that is our life. May the vibrations of the temple bell move us into the deep recesses of our heart and mind. So be it. Blessed be, and amen.
In July and in August, our Share the Plate recipient is Sedona Grace. Sedona Grace keeps pets with their families by providing pet food to local food pantries so everyone in the family, including our four-legged friends, can have food on the table and in their bowls. You can also contribute by bringing cat or dog food to the Justice Action Ministry table on Sunday mornings in July and August. So please use the QR code on the front of the order of service, text the number on the screen, or go to our website, firstucolumbus.org, and click the Donate tab to share as you feel called. Your gifts help build a better church and a better world. Thank you. Our offering will now be gratefully received.
I was telling Nathan before the service that he's bringing back wonderful memories of watching High School Musical over and over and over and over again. For our benediction, I offer these words from Michael Schuler. We have reached the end of this time for the gathering of memory and for letting the imagination play with future possibilities. We have enjoyed magic moments and edified each other. Shall it be concluded then? Or will this adventure now commenced continue? Our separate paths converged, meeting, merging in the unending quest for love more perfect, the joyous struggle for meaning more sufficient and life more abundant. Is this ending to be an ending or merely prelude to new, more glorious beginnings? I pose the question, in your hearts lies the answer. Please rise in body or in spirit and join us as we sing our closing hymn, Building a New Way. We will sing verses 1 and 4, and you can find this number 1017 in our teal hymnal.
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. He said, building a new way. Oh, there you go. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, this world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry.
Please take the hand of the person next to you or place your hand over your heart if that feels more comfortable to you. As I find my place. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of vision. As we go forth, let us heal and transform ourselves and our world through reason and love.